What it do, everybody? It's been a good old week, but it feels like it's been longer, to be completely honest with you. But welcome back to the Film Cave, episode number 84. I was about to say 34. That is way off.
That's a little off, my friend.
It's a little off. It's your boy Knight.
What's up, everybody? Logan here, going off a hotspot off my phone. So if I cut out, give me a minute or two. I should be back, but I think we'll be all right. It seems to be somewhat stable at the moment, so let's just keep our fingers crossed on that.
Heard it. So yeah, man. Like I said, we missed last week's episode. There was literally nothing, in the world to talk about. So we just didn't want to sit here and absolutely do nothing and just look at y'all for however long, for 5 minutes. But we're here, we're back. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to cover. We got some show premieres. We got some trailers. And I forgot to watch one before we got on here. But, so damn. But we're going to do our best to fill it up. And of course, at the end, we will dedicate a few minutes to y'all to shoot the shit and just, talk about whatever we feel is necessary. All right. So we want to thank y'all. If you're watching live, we love you all so much. And thank you for the commitment. If you're watching on playback, the same exact goddamn thing. We thank you. We appreciate the support. Hit that thumbs up. Continue that support, that notification bell. And of course, subscribe. That's the most important thing. All right. So don't forget. All right. Good sir. Are you ready?
I'm very ready. Let's get it.
Cool and gang. All right. So for those of you who do not know, and quite a few of you do, me and Logan are a couple of what?
Fucking nerds.
Fucking nerds, man. Which means we talk about film any goddamn day. But sometimes, well, most times, the world of film still rears her beautiful head into the conversation because why?
She's a jealous ass bitch, man.
She's a jealous ass bitch. So, but before we get into this, I also did want to say this show is dedicated to the late, great, one and only, my personal great, Kobe Bryant. Happy birthday, brother.
Correct.
Gone, but not forgotten. Missed all the time.
That's correct.
So,
big time.
I know I was going to put, what is it, the little banner up here? But that's
I saw
huge.
that. Yeah,
it's gonna be
it's
like on your face. I was like, well, let's not do that. So we'll just say something nice and keep
sure.
it in his
Well, wait,
honor.
can you see my thing back there?
A little bit. I see the 24.
How about, does that show it?
It does show it.
There you go. Mama mentality.
There you go.
I mean, hey, it's pretty back there.
It is very pretty back there. It for sure is. All right, so we like to call this here particular segment. What's it called? You see the world spinning? Mamba looking down. He's saying out there in the goddamn world. Yes, he is. He said, "Go with your best, give it your all, and rock the shit out this show." And we will go. We got you. It's out there in the world. All right. There is some would call particular fashion we go about out there in the world. Good sir, do you mind reminding or telling the people what that fashion would be?
That would be traditionary fashion, my friend.
You're good and goddamn right it is. Traditionary fashion and sad fashion. Good sir, what do you have for us?
Nothing too crazy, to be honest, but I did want to show off one thing. So which it's funny that Walker seems to be like the only person in the chat, but him and I both got on the new iOS beta that's coming out soon, like the new update.
Well, I ain't getting
so
damn beta.
And so it's like, well, you got to like do a bunch of stuff, but like you can customize things and like you can change the text and you can do all that. But I just want to pinpoint one thing that I just appreciate that they did here. And I don't even know if Walker knows, but I did switch to this. And now if I can get it to where that moon will like zoom in as my lock screen background at the same time.
It's actually pretty fucking cool.
And it's just damn beautiful, man. Like I appreciate it so much. They also have one that you can do like that with the Earth. So it's like this. And then if I go to unlock it, it brings it down like that. And I appreciate that level of detail, man.
It's pretty damn cool.
I'm big on astronomy and like things like that. And so I'm like, okay, I got to do a moon or a planet or something, and you get the moon and the Earth, and I'm fucking about it. It's really nice, and the beta runs great. So if anybody wants to get on it, I can recommend it. It's pretty nice. Also, they added the. It's gonna be hard to see with because I'm charging. Yeah, you can't tell, but the battery percentage is in the little battery now.
Oh, that's cool.
So they gave you the number back, because they took that shit away to where you have to like swipe down from the right to see what your battery's at. But now you can bring it back and you can put it in the little battery. And I appreciate that shit. So, yeah.
It's the little things. So, all right. I have a few things for out there in the world. Number one, for whatever damn reason, Halloween Ends.
Oh, yeah.
Will now officially be, yet again, in theaters and the Cock of Pee.
On the Pretty Bird.
On the Pretty Bird, which is so damn stupid to me, but it's whatever. I get it. I guess they had a lovely little explanation to lessen the blow by giving us a video with Jamie Lee Curtis talking about her legacy and getting emotional and saying why we did it, which was cool. I really liked, because I mean she's arguably the greatest final girl ever. But I'm just like, why? Keep it in the fucking theaters and then just do you.
Yeah.
But we got a date of October 14th. I don't know if that was always the date. I don't remember.
Sure.
But now that's official. And they dropped a really badass fucking poster with it. I was like, oh my God, this is lovely. But I'm definitely seeing it in theaters. Fuck that streaming shit. But yeah, I know you don't have a particular thought on this. I know you're not really a fan of all this, but
what I will say is on that poster, the poster looks good, but the height, they're like almost the same height in that poster. And I just found that I found that a little weird, because he's supposed to be like crazy. Like he's supposed to be like 6'6" compared to her, and she's
which she is in the movie, but I guess they just wanted to. I don't know.
Because also in that video, I did watch that video of her like explaining things. I didn't watch it with sound. I was at work, but I was just like watching it, and all of a sudden he like peeks out the back, and I was like, whoever's in that suit is like so not the guy. Because he's completely like tiny and like not intimidating at all, but it was still funny.
He was short as shit.
Just kind of, what's going on? But yeah, when it comes to the Peacock thing, kind of dumb. I mean, this is this is the finale of a whole franchise, and
yes, it is.
To do it on Peacock at the same time is super weird, and like especially because we're coming out of the pandemic in a way, or like at least people are vaccinated, can be boosted, things like that. But it was also just strange to me because like I am such a stickler on theatrical experience. Like that is what is most important to me. Like that's why I do IMAX every chance I get. It's all those things. Like I will always choose the theatrical experience over anything else. And to see, like, I don't know if you saw like Adam Havelock tweeting, but like
I see it quite a bit, but I didn't follow as much.
Yeah, so I mean, people were like, you know, hey, what do you think? And he was like, well, apparently it did super well for the, you know, the one before this on Peacock for obvious reasons, because I mean, at that time we were in a, you know, a more serious situation COVID wise, but, you know, he was like, yeah, he's like, I'm not going to watch it at home. Like, he's like, I'm going to theater. But then he said that the two guys that he does Heroes Reforged with, he said they will watch it at home. Like, they will always choose at home. And I think that is so insane to me.
Horrible. Yes.
And then also everyone at Blind Wave will wait to watch a movie in theaters. They won't go see it in theaters. They would rather do a reaction video for the fans on Patreon, which I respect, but like, you couldn't pay me $1,000 if it was a movie that I was massively anticipating. There's no way in hell I'm doing that, because you know they get spoiled, and then you just have to kind of pretend like you missed something. Like, for like this is going to be a little different scenario because it is coming out the same time, but like, I don't know, man. It's crazy to me that like I still like, I'm not watching House of the Dragon for Patreon because I don't want to watch it on this tiny ass screen. I want to watch it in my living room on a big screen with my good sound and all that jazz, and like have that experience, because it's not really directed at my channel. And so I get to like, you know, I can kind of make that choice and say like, this isn't going to be what I'm doing, you know, on camera. So I just find that crazy, but I guess respect, right? I mean, good for them.
Yeah, that's something I could never and would never do. So
they're hurting theaters.
Yes, they are,
and I don't appreciate that
greatly. Okay, what do you have? Or should I just fire off if you have anything else?
Fuck, I was gonna say something else. Go ahead and fire off another one. I forgot it. I'll get it back.
Got you. So something I feel like I've worked from the smallest to the biggest, but something I feel like is kind of unnecessary, but also very shocking for who's behind it, is a new Kong series.
Oh yeah.
With James Wan fucking producing. I'm like, huh?
I don't know where that came from.
Have no idea and how he even got involved.
Yeah.
That's so, I don't want to say out of his wheelhouse because this man does everything, but it's just so random. James Wan fucking presents King Kong. It's like,
and this is for Disney Plus.
Yeah, for Disney Plus, and somebody, I forget who they said was writing it, and I'm not familiar with the work, but like James Wan is what stuck out to me, not the other person.
Sure.
I don't feel like this is necessary. Isn't Godzilla getting one too?
Oh, I don't know about that.
I could have swore they said Godzilla was getting something too, sometime back.
Wouldn't that be Warner Brothers? Or would that be somebody else?
I imagine that would be Warner Brothers, but who knows? Fucking Disney's doing this shit, so who knows? But yeah, what do you think about it all?
No, I mean, when it comes to the actual story of King Kong, it's obviously classic, and you know, going back to the movie from the early 2000s, it's great. I mean, it is a really good adaptation of that classic story. CG is rough in some spots everywhere but the fucking ape, basically. I mean, King Kong looks unbelievable in that movie. A lot of things they did right for that.
It's about Skull Island, right?
No, I'm talking about King Kong. What is that? Who did it? Peter Jackson?
Oh, Peter Jackson? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, good.
So like I remember going and seeing that, like my grandparents took me to see that movie in theaters, and I didn't know the story, and I remember being so upset when I'm like, he died.
Oh.
And they're like, yeah, that's the story of King Kong. And I'm like, I was like 9. And I was like, what do you know? I was like, that's ridiculous. But like, I mean, I still remember him fighting the T-Rexes, and I mean, just like grabbing that shit and busting his jaw, all that, like, it was dope.
Long ass movie, but
oh no, it's a long ass. So that's what's kind of interesting is series. kind of works. I mean, if they wanted to, I just don't know if it's necessary.
I mean, are we doing that, or are we like continuing off of like Godzilla vs. Kong, like that universe? Like, are we just following
Why
him now
would Disney
through
Plus
that?
be doing that? They're doing a King Kong. They're not doing a Skull Island, series.
We don't know. There's no details about it yet. They could continue it, or I could just do a whole.
That's
new
a
thing.
Warner Brothers property. I mean, Disney Plus isn't
yeah.
going to do a series on.
Yeah, that's true.
Or is it Warner Brothers Legendary? Whatever,
Yeah.
but I think it's Warner Brothers.
It's
It was on
it's both
HBO
of them.
Max. Yeah,
Both of
it was
them,
on
yeah.
HBO Max.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find some details. But I mean, what do you think?
I don't care. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not excited. I'm not a Kong fan. Like I said, I'll be curious. Like if I'm bored one day and just happen to stumble upon it, see what's going on. But I'm not like, oh my god, we're getting a Kong series, yay! No. I guess I'd be more excited if it was like Godzilla or something, which I swore something was happening. But, excuse me. But yeah, I don't care. Either way, it's just interesting to me that James Wan is all attached to it.
Yeah, I got you right here. So it seems like it might actually be neither of what we're saying. It could just be kind of a reboot of their own. So it says the series will be a serialized drama. It is live action, but a serialized drama that would explore Kong's origins as well as the mysteries of his home Skull Island. The series will be based on the original King Kong written by Marion C. Cooper, as well as new novelizations by artist Joe DeVito, produced in conjunction with the Cooper's estate. So, kind of a interesting situation here. And here, to your point, Apple is currently prepping a series about Godzilla and the Titans.
Okay.
With Kurt Russell and his son Wyatt recently announced as stars.
Yes.
That series
There
is
we go.
connected to the MonsterVerse films, while the King Kong Disney Plus show is a separate entity.
Okay, that's right. I remember now that you said the Russells were in it together. I thought that was cool.
And I didn't even hear about that. So that's,
Yeah.
I mean, goddamn, they're getting paid for that garbage.
Hey, could be good. Never know.
I mean, well, it's
Depends on
Apple
who's
making
attached.
it,
Right.
but so that's true. But yeah, so this seems to be just kind of their own thing over here on Disney Plus, which random
This is
as
very random.
fuck, man. But
But
do
if
the thing,
Godzilla's
I guess.
doing it, I guess they got to do it for Kong. I guess.
But this is different. Like, it's not continuing the MonsterVerse. It's I don't know.
But it's still a competition. Like Godzilla's getting some shit. Give us something for Kong. It's like, well, fuck, we don't need it.
I mean,
whatever.
I could see it would be kind of cool if we actually got, give me a rough 3 seasons of a King Kong series. If it's actually great, and literally the first 2 seasons are him, Skull Island, maybe people showing up kind of thing. And then the 3rd season is him getting shipped over and it ends with him dying, like the classic thing, but it's just a very drawn out,
That'd
you
be
are
cool.
completely fucking in love with this ape.
This is definitely going to be a time period. type
And
thing,
yeah,
obviously.
so I mean, I could see it being cool. I mean, it's just one of those things where Peter Jackson's movie's long, but if I can knock out the whole story in that amount of time versus 50 hours, it's tough. If you were going to give me 5 seasons worth of shit. So I don't know what they're doing. Maybe it's all one season.
I think it's a
it's
jump back and forth.
If it's a limited series and they knock out that story in one season, I mean, they could really sell it, but it's
I
still
imagine it's going to
unnecessary.
be limited, but I imagine that budget's going to be fucking ridiculous.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
So we'll see for both fucking shows.
Yeah.
So I don't imagine them going pretty long like that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Who knows?
I'm kind of surprised that they would be that. Well, I guess if Apple's having to make it and pay for it, Warner Brothers and Discovery don't
Apple's
give a fuck.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah,
Apple's
that they probably sold those rights and say, yeah, y'all make
Sure.
that shit, because that's seems to be what DC's up to. So
And it depends on
and
who they
Warner
get to
Brothers.
star. So it's James Wan. So I'm guessing 9 times out of 10, Patrick Wilson will be in that bitch.
correct.
If not starring.
Yeah.
If not
And
starring.
I'm about it. I'm about it.
Uh,
I fucking love him, man.
I'm with it.
So good.
I'm with it. Bring Vera in there for a few. Why not? Just bring the whole fucking cast together. Why not?
I mean, shit, good. God, she kind of looks similar to the lady that played the girl in the Peter Jackson. Like if you just made Vera blonde,
Naomi Watts.
uh,
God.
they could look a little similar. So I don't know, that'd be kind of funny.
But yeah, so we shall see. So, little fun fact, since you said you hated Kong dying in that one, I
Yeah,
actually hated and got a little emo as a kid on 98 Godzilla when they killed him. I was such a fan. I was like, oh my god, because all the toes, you're not used to Godzilla dying like that, and
Yeah.
the classic. So I'm like, but this Godzilla was a pussy. But I'm just like, why'd you fucking kill him? I remember the theater going crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, which, oh god, that movie's bad. But good song by Diddy and Jimmy Page. I wore that song out.
Oh, really?
Oh, absolutely. As a kid, I fucking wore that shit out endlessly. Okay, so in continuing, the streak of just unfortunate events for this fucking movie, Batgirl has been completely just fucking erased from all memory banks of life and history. The directors tried to salvage some stuff, and it was like, yeah, no, homie, the whole thing's wiped.
Your shit's been revoked.
Yeah,
access revoked. Crazy.
Completely. And this movie's just gotten butchered horribly. How are you feeling about that? Just them digging the knife deeper into the wound of Batgirl.
It really does not make sense to me to act that way. Yeah. Like, unless there really is some sort of financial situation. But like, I don't know if you saw the thing when that first came out. I don't know if you saw the director of Dickinson from Apple with Haley Steinfeld. I don't know if you saw her tweet. So she tweeted, which I haven't watched a second of that show. Could not care less, whatever. But I want to say something along the lines of either the show's 2 seasons and she wanted a 3rd season, or the show's 2 seasons and they almost cut her off after 1. And she, whatever it was, she's like, I have a full story to tell, already mapped out. I've been working on this thing for a decade. And, it was this thing of like, all of a sudden she wasn't going to be allowed to make any more or something like that. Anyway, she spoke about how she's like, this situation with the Batgirl thing, she was like, this is why in my contract, I said, no matter what, I get a physical copy of my show on Blu-ray. This is with Apple. They don't do that. They don't have any Blu-rays. And she said, I'm the only person in the world that has a physical copy of Dickinson. And she's like, this is why. Because at any point in time, they could just remove it from the platform. And, God forbid, God forbid, like something with Haley Steinfeld came out and she was like a horrible person and Apple would just yank that shit. And it's like, that would still be the case and that would still suck. But like that woman, she was like, this is my life's work. Like I've worked on this for a decade of my professional career. If it was just gone and I couldn't ever see it again, like she was like, so I had it in my contract. So it was super interesting to where I don't know financially or like legally, if they wanted to do a tax write-off, they can't sneak a fucking hard drive to the director and be like, if we ever see that, like, sign this shit, you will lose everything. But like, that's yours. You worked your ass off on this. Right. Keep that. But no, they went in, tried to get their stuff, and their fucking passwords didn't even work. Like, that's not taxes. Mm-mm. Like, these are employees of your company that I would guess you had a pretty good relationship. And like, not only did you take their work away, but you also like severed all ties. Like, that's so crazy, man. I really don't understand the background of that kind of stuff, but like, that's a wild situation. And I love that they're being fucking outright with it and talking about it. So that's great too.
It is. It's just so unfortunate, and it's like it would be really nice if they got to keep some type of physical, whatever. But it also, at the same time, it's a double-edged sword for me, and it's pissing me off a little bit
Mhm.
because yes, the movie got canned and all this good stuff, but the marketing and hype for this film was nowhere
Correct.
prior to that. Now that it happens, you're releasing all these pictures, behind the scenes things, yada yada yada. Why the fuck were you not doing that during this entire process to at least get some type of hype to build and have Warner Brothers be like, okay, people really fucking digging this. Like, they want to see this. Okay, cool, we got it. The director's behind it, the cast, everyone's showing whatever they can. People are digging it. Let's just shoot our shot here and just take whatever loss we feel like doing and just salvage this. At least it may not have helped, but at least you would have tried and
Right.
something would have came of it. But don't wait till it's over to be like, oh my God, here. It's like, where the fuck was all of this before?
Yeah.
Because it was silent after giving us some horrible set pics from fucking 30 miles away. Like, why?
Yeah.
So it's a double edge for me, and it's pretty annoying, but unfortunate in the grander scheme of things for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just really dumb. Okay, that, and so I don't even know if I want to talk about this, but you can. I know HBO Max dropped some trailers, and one of them I'm interested in. I did not watch the trailer. I kept telling myself all day, watch it. I did not, and that's The Last of Us.
Oh yeah.
And then those fucking Hobbit people have one too.
That's on Amazon. Yes.
Oh, whatever it is. But that shows you how much I care, right?
Yeah, correct.
But I know you saw them. So
Yeah.
what did you think? Because Last of Us, I'm not somebody who played the games, but I'm quite familiar. I know the storyline. I know what happens. I know all this, yada yada yada, on both ends, for 1 and 2. Pedro to me is, you can't get, it's fucking Pedro.
I know, man.
I still incredibly hate the casting of Ellie, of Elle, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Ellie. Am I saying that
Ellie.
right? I fucking hate it. But it is what it is. Explain, sir.
Yeah.
Tell us how you feel.
So HBO Max put out a trailer that has tiny tidbits of like a few things, but then they do kind of give you, which it's a fucking cheap, like Last of Us deserves its own fucking video. But they just randomly, like, they're like intercutting like all these different shows and announcing like what comes out next year, and then all of a sudden it's like, and as an HBO exclusive, like all the, like, it's like slows down, and
Yeah.
it's The Last of Us, and it gives you like, it's like a 45-second clip or something like that, just
Yeah, it's not
somewhat,
long at all.
and then it kind of intercuts and acts like it's a trailer for a second, and then ends with a dragon from House of the Dragon, and you're like, that was not done well. But no, in terms of the actual clip that we saw, I'm fucking hyped as shit, because just immediately you get to see, which I don't want to necessarily say it's going to be fantastic, but like, they put budget into it, and cinematography wise, it's fucking awesome. Like, there's just a bunch of massive wide shots like on location, and so I immediately appreciate that kind of stuff, because it just jumps out. It's like, oh, this is going to be nice to look at. That's nice. When it comes to Ellie, I'll admit, homegirl gets to talk in the clip, and man, she just doesn't have the attitude that Ellie in the game has. Like, Ellie's kind of got an accent and like a rasp to her, I guess. And this girl's just kind of talking. And obviously in the context of the show, it could work better, but like, I've just grown massively attached to Ellie's voice. That's just the way it goes. I can't help it. So that is that's going to be interesting. But Pedro looks fucking great as Joel. Pedro doing actual drama. Come on, like, give me that shit. Because like, all I've seen him in is Mandalorian, obviously, which half the time it's not even him under the suit. And then just saw him in Unbearable Talent or whatever with Nick Cage. Absolutely hilarious and great in that movie, but like not Joel from Last of Us.
Right.
But he's doing awesome. I'm so
Don't
excited
forget
for
Wonder
that.
Woman. Best role ever.
Oh God, fuck my life. But also, my boy Nick Offerman gets a little a glimpse.
Saw that.
Which it's really cool that like he perfectly fits that bill of that character, but also that character is around in the game for like no time at all. Like he's got a very small, important part, and he's an awesome character, but like very small. But that's one of those things I appreciate is like, no, they went out, they got the right people for the jobs, even if they're little jobs. And I'm super fucking excited. Like I really am. The quality looks there, and I wish that it was debuted a little bit better. Like The Last of Us show deserved what House of the Dragon is kind of getting. Like there are enough people to where it's like, oh no, tomorrow we're debuting the first teaser trailer for The Last. Like people would lose their fucking minds. And the fact that Ronan hit me up on Twitter that day and was like, holy shit, we just got Last of Us footage. And I was like, where? He said in this HBO Max trailer thing. I was like, okay, like what the fuck is this? Like I just think that's disrespectful, because that's for how much money I bet you they spent on it. I would think that they would want to give it its props. But it does immediately kind of scare me. It's like maybe it's not as good as they think, and they're just kind of throwing it in with the Slate video of like, I don't know. It's interesting, but
I don't know.
I'm excited.
I'm obviously curious. Like I said, I don't have the strong of attachment as Musk does, because I haven't played it. But like I said, just I know the characters and all of this, and just seeing the little girl bugs me. Game of Thrones chick. I'm like, this is not Ellie.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, you look a little weird, but I'm just not. That's just me being a super sad. But she looks a little weird looking. But I personally would have wanted. But I know she's a little older, but she was still kind of young when it happened. The chick from Booksmart. To be Ellie. Let me see
I'll look it up real quick. Booksmart cast. Caitlin Dever.
Yes,
Dever.
Her.
She is a little old, but
yeah,
she's 25.
Right, but I know, like, I don't know, but I just would have.
I mean,
not the current chick, but
so here's the thing. So current chick is 18, and she's supposed to be playing.
I'm gonna say she's much younger,
like 12, 13, something like that. I mean, she's supposed to be playing young as fuck. But I do think they're playing the long game to where they legitimately needed to go. I think the girl look wise, I think it could work. Like, I mean, I'm not worried about that. But like they needed to go kind of a Tom Holland situation where it's like, hey, we're playing the long game here. The first game, I will admit, will play off as a series much better than the second game, even though both of them are masterpieces in their own right.
I was gonna say season 2 is Joel dying.
Well, and that's the thing too, is I could see season 1 ending halfway through the first game. Like they might not even actually give us the whole game as a series yet. So because it's a long ass game. Like you got to realize they have to walk across like states. Like it's not like we're just kind of we're going across the city. Like no,
road tripping.
Like legitimately, and most of it's on foot. So like you didn't get a fucking horse for the most part until the second game. But yeah, I mean, did I lose you?
I don't know. Are you still there?
I'm here. Am I frozen?
No.
Okay, you were for a little bit, but you look good now.
Yeah, both of us went like into circles. So
okay,
got
you. But yeah, so I don't know. I think that the casting could work. She obviously, what Caitlin Dever looks like is if they were making the second game now.
Right.
Like which that age difference.
Swap her out.
Well, but the girl might be, the right age by that point. I don't know.
Whatevs.
But I'm super excited. I think Pedro's gonna fucking murder it. You also have Gabriel Luna as his brother.
Oh, that's right. He is in this.
I mean,
Tommy.
fucking incredible casting there. It's gonna be interesting, man. I'm excited as fuck.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, not like
I'm here for it.
It's gonna be massive. Like, it really is. And immediately when you see the wide shots, I'm like, okay, because that's what a lot of it is, just going to be fucking wilderness, cold, dreary, snow, just nasty. And I'm about it. So good shit.
I am here for it. So we shall see. Like I said, you could talk about the Hobbits. I don't give a shit. But are you excited for that or looking forward to it? Or
so Rings of Power. I don't know shit about Lord of the Rings. I've seen Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit once, and
I've barely made it through all of them.
I can't even tell you I remember it really. Like, that's why I do have them like on my list of things to like read at some point, but they're not close to my list. Like, they're further down my list. But when it comes to this show, I highly recommend you watch the trailers, because what I'm honestly most intrigued by is it's Lord of the Rings, so like it's a massive deal, but also this is the most expensive show of all time, and like
that's wild to me
by a long shot. And so I'm always intrigued to be like, okay, fucking show it to me. And those trailers fucking show it to you. Like, everything looks unfucking believable.
Out
Like,
of all shows to exist in this current time, how does Lord of the Rings become the most expensive thing ever? Like, out of all shows,
well,
Lord of the Rings.
you got to think about,
so all that budget into
Amazon had to fight for those rights, and so they're not going to just beg for the rights, finally get them, and then do it half-assed. Like, it's not like I half see Warner Brothers and Discovery making House of Dragon season 2 with 3/4 of the budget of the first season, just because they're like, we got people locked in, let's see if we can get away with this, and just to save money. And Amazon's like, hey, we don't have shit IP wise, we got Tolkien, go. Because I mean, at the end of the day, Return of the King, Return of the King has unbelievable amounts of Oscars, and so like people beloved it. People will watch this show, so I can't blame them. But it's still interesting. It's not up to it, but it's almost like how expensive the Avatar movies will be. And it's like, hey, y'all really want to put that much money down for, I don't know if you want to make that shit back, but like, I really do it. Like, you got to watch the trailers just specifically for how damn good they look. And then this girl, the main girl, the character's name is Galadriel. Interesting name. Pretty cool name. But actress's name, even more interesting, Morpheed, I think is her name. Morpheed Clark. Never seen her before in my life. Just in the trailers alone, this is 100% a Daisy Ridley situation. This girl's a fucking monster.
That'll be the only time this will be the only thing she'll be in, you mean?
No, like, they found somebody that no one really knows, and this girl is murdering. Like, she's doing so many stunts. She's fucking like swimming. She's falling off.
Looks cool.
Like, yeah, I mean, she is 100%. Like, they struck gold, I think, with this girl.
Oh, she's 33.
And you don't even really like see her do anything crazy acting wise. Like, I'm hoping she can live up to that. But
she was in Crawl.
She is the lead of this series, and I think that they struck gold with what the trailers are showing me. Like, I've said it from the get-go, but she's awesome. So I'm really excited for that. And just to kind of see a part of this world that like most people don't know. Like, that's the other thing, is it's not like they're just retelling The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Like, this is hundreds of years in the future or whatever. And I'm kind of interested to learn more about that world.
Still there? Do we lose him? Whoa.
I'm right here. What's up?
Okay.
Why did it swap me? There we go.
No idea. I thought we lost you.
But I think this has a possibility of being like a more fantastical Game of Thrones like show.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like it obviously won't have the gore, but like it doesn't need to because they've got fucking
a shame
magic. Like you don't need to have that. But
I want to see magical gore.
I'm excited. I did also get I got 2 seats, so they're doing these. This comes out I think next Friday is when the first 2 episodes drop. And Amazon, I think they partnered with Cinemark, and all across the country, they're having one showtime on Wednesday of next week in a theater for their free tickets. You just had to claim them, and they're going to show the first 2 episodes in a theater. And I'm fucking hyped for that just because they look cool, incredible. Actually. I mean, the budget is there for that, and also because these motherfuckers seem to have shot this shit just like Disney's doing, with the fucking black bars on top and bottom like it's supposed to be in a movie theater. I was like, that was one thing I was so excited. I was like, Game of Thrones is back. I'm getting my whole fucking TV screen filled. Like, let's go. Because they're the only people in the goddamn world, HBO is, that realizes like, oh, we're making television shows. Let's go ahead and go 16:9. Like on that aspect ratio to fill the whole goddamn screen. Like, why the fuck won't people do this? But
I don't
know.
Yeah,
I'm intrigued to see it in the theater though. I think that'll be cool. And those seats sold out pretty goddamn quick. I'm not gonna lie. So, I'm excited.
If anything, if I were to be like, oh, check it out, do whatever, going into the theater would be my first kind of like.
It'd be cool.
Okay, I prefer to do that.
Yeah.
To see this than
see the first 2 hours like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm sure people go crazy, touch themselves all over it. I'm sure. Okay. So let's see. Was there anything else that I had? Let's see. Okay. No, I don't think there's anything else that I had in terms of out there in the world. The next subject we'll just plot through quickly. I don't want everything to be out there. But yeah, so it's going to do it for out there in the world. If you felt like there's anything that we have missed or want to expand upon, please let it be known in the live chat right now or in the comment sections below. During playback, as we are very interactive on the comment section, so let us know. And if you made it this far, hit that subscribe button. All right, so now for our main topics. Well, yeah, main topics of the evening, I should say. Mm-hmm. We got quite a bit. But I wanted to start with something that is 2 weeks old.
Yeah, playing a little catch up here.
Playing a little catch up, but something I'm very excited to talk about. We'll make it, brief. Of course, this is spoilers. But I finally saw Bullet Train. When did I see it? Last week, I think. But yeah, Bullet Train. Finally saw it. The Brad Pitt, David Leitch directed action flick with the star-studded cast on a train. And to be honest with you, I fucking loved this movie.
You're goddamn right.
Yeah, it's so fucking fun. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And everybody is just in it having a good ass fucking time.
This had to be the best set ever.
Oh God.
You can just see the joy on everyone's faces while they're having to make this fucking movie.
It's ridiculous. And it's like the action's fun. It doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel long. It's perfect in its pacing.
Yeah.
Good God. Everyone's a fucking standout. But
there is
everybody is a standout. Jesus Christ. Lemon and fucking Tangerine every single time
I
they're on
mean-
the fucking screen, it's just like gold. I don't
Yeah.
want them to come off. Like, stay here.
Right.
Like, I want a spinoff. How do they come
Exactly.
to be? Like,
we
how
we
did,
need. Well, you saw how they came to be. You saw the flashback
Oh yeah, but I want to see like I
with him
want
watching.
the beginnings.
He was
of
watching
everything.
Thomas the Train with holding that little train.
Yes, and even that shit I loved. Like,
Yeah, it's so fucking good, man. So okay, so I just got to say before I let you go off because you deserve to go off. But first of all, I called it, told you you'd love it,
yes, you did.
and I was dying for you to see it because this movie is so fucking fun. It's absolutely fantastic. I've seen it twice.
I want to see
and-
it again, to be honest with you.
Aaron Taylor Johnson, and like,
so good.
oh my god, like literally, him and Brian Tyree are unbelievable. But Aaron Taylor Johnson, I think, is the true standout for me.
And that is one good looking motherfucker.
He's got
Aaron
that
Taylor
walk.
I was like, Jesus
Uh,
Christ.
The cameos of Channing Tatum cameo is phenomenal.
Hilarious.
Absolutely, like I
Is
love
this sex
it.
stuff?
Yeah, is this the sex stuff? And he's like, he's got a good walk
He got a
too.
good walk. Yes, he does.
It's like, oh my god, and he's in that suit. Like that's the color suit that, like, oh man, he's fucking popping, man.
Oh,
But
yeah. In the one, and I went into this movie already knowing, I'm like, okay, I'm sure it's gonna be fun. People are gonna show up. The one person I know for sure is going to show up, of course, showed up in fucking Ryan Reynolds. I was like, where is
Yeah,
he?
correct,
It's David
correct.
Leach. I know he's gonna fucking pop up. Where is he? Long and behold, when they was talking about Carver, I was like, that's gonna be Ryan
That's
Reynolds.
him.
Let's go.
Yeah,
And then
correct.
boom. Just everyone
But-
is so
And just the way that, first of all, the whole movie, it's my favorite thing. So remember me telling you, it's like
it
Watchmen.
comes together so fucking good.
So every line is thought through to where they're like, oh, we'll tie that into a bow later, like all of it. And having Carver show back up, like, oh yeah, right at the very beginning, like, oh, I'm filling in for Carver. I fucking hate Carver. Like, why am I second to Carver? And it's like, oh no, like that's legitimately like a massive plot point to the end of, like, we're following our protagonist and he's about to get murdered because they think this motherfucker is Carver.
Yep.
And it's so good.
He's like, wait, what? I'm not.
It's like, I'm not
I'm not
Carver.
Carver.
And it's so good. He's like, I just do, like whatever the grab and goes or whatever he says. Like,
yeah.
And he's
Pick
like,
up
"What?"
jobs, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, and like the Ryan Reynolds cameo, that was obviously like shot way after the fact. Like they were like, let's just get him on a set and whatever. But like the fact that Channing Tatum shows up and it's like, I'll only do cameos if it's like gay stuff. And I'm like, yeah, like I fucking love him for it. Like he has
Absolutely.
a blast with his career, and I appreciate that so much.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, Zazie Beetz is in it for a little bit, bitch. I mean, like
I said yes.
like she says bitch like 18 times in 60 seconds.
Every fucking word is bitch.
Um,
I'm like, Jesus Christ.
But like, she had so much fun because like I would say she is up, like she's like an A-list-ish, probably an actress. Like she's really up there.
Yeah.
And for them to come to her and say, hey, we've got 2 minutes of screen time, but you get to have like a crazy, disgusting looking death scene.
Yeah.
And we'll let you say bitch a lot. And she's like, that sounds like the greatest week of shooting I could ever have. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I love it so much. Brad Pitt's obviously having a blast, but like
yeah.
Aaron Taylor Johnson and Brian Tyree had to give their all.
Yeah.
Like,
It
and
was
then Logan
amazing.
Lerman over there is just kind of KO'd for most of it, just hanging out. Like, that's a great fucking job to have.
Absolutely.
So yeah, but what stood out to you? Like, what was your shit?
Like I said, other than, like I said, those two, and just how fun it was. Like, it didn't take itself seriously at all. Like, it knew
Yeah.
exactly what it was, what it wanted to achieve. The characters understood their fucking assignment, like the actors themselves. Everyone was good to me. I don't think anybody was horrible. Like, even Bad Bunny,
No.
like, you didn't go crazy. I'm just like, dude, you're just there to just have a fun fucking
Right.
fight scene and call it a day.
Correct.
Should
he have gotten a whole, superhero movie off of it? I don't think
Probably
so
not.
at all.
It does suck that the marketing for this movie was so fucking bad, and they show the
Right.
movies in all the trailers
Yeah.
because that Zazie Beetz. I'm like, okay, they keep talking about this Hornet person, where the fuck the name was. Okay, it's gonna be Zazie because she hasn't
Yeah.
shown the fuck up this entire
Correct.
time. Got it, and I know she's in it.
Yeah.
It was cool to find out she was like the little plush thing. I was like, that's pretty.
That's pretty funny.
Pretty funny. And I just love the way it all tied together. It reminded me of, like, literally they tied every single fucking thing
Right.
together at the end. Even Michael Shannon, like, coming through for the short time he was in. Fucking
Yeah.
just, I'm here to have fun, dude, and I'm rocking
So-
it out.
When it comes to him, did you remember that he was popping up from the trailers?
Yeah.
Like throughout the whole thing?
Yeah.
Because so I had spaced up until right before he was about to show up, and I remembered the trailers. I was like, oh, it's fucking Michael Shannon. But like in the flashbacks, because we had already gotten the Channing Tatum one.
Yeah.
And then the flashbacks, it's this giant Russian, and like we don't see his face.
I
the whole
thought that was gonna be somebody cool, like a young
And
version.
That was the thing, is I was sitting there like, is this fucking Hugh Jackman or something? Like,
That
just
would have been amazing.
right? Like, can you imagine how much fun he would have had doing a
Yeah.
movie like this? So yeah, I was like
Absolutely.
waiting for that reveal of like, who the fuck is it? And his name always escapes me, but Scorpion, fucking
Sonata,
fantastic.
Hiroyuki Sonata.
Walker and I keep like, he's like, oh, like, I've got a story for you. It's very
Like, just-
very quick story. It's
Could
good
be a
for
little,
you.
little good.
And he's like, I'm good. And he's like, it's very good for you. And
a little good. Very
He-
quick. Here
very
we go.
quick. And he's like, I'm gonna say that. Like, and then the elder.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I loved like his, even just the absolute craziness of the fucking snake. Here's the
Oh, yeah.
snake. This is Zazie Beetz' snake. This is where she gets her venom from the hornet shit. And he takes the antivenom instead of her. She dies. And then he gets attacked by the most poisonous snake of all time. And he's like, weirdly enough, I've already got a dose of antivenom in me, and I think I'm going to be all right.
Like a
And it's like-
ladybug, man.
Yeah. And oh my God, it is absolutely incredible. like-
I hated that Sandra Bullock was spoiled. I would have loved for that to have been a
See,
surprise.
I know, right?
I was like, fuck.
Very short story. Very quick.
Very quick. Here we go. This movie reminded me of like a combination of two. So the shooting style and the stylization of Smoking Aces, but the storytelling and wrap up of, I don't know if you've ever seen Lucky Number 11,
No.
but it's fucking
I haven't seen
fantastic.
Either of those.
Please watch them. But it reminds me of those. If you ever watch them, you'll see exactly like why I say that. But overall, just good fucking time, man. I loved it. But I will
Like-
say,
Oh, what you got?
oh sorry, the one person I just want to say, someone please just kill this bitch, was Joey King, the fucking little I'm a
main
little
girl.
innocent girl.
Yeah.
Every fucking time someone came to, I was like, shoot her in the face.
I know, but she was good though, man. Like,
She-
that's the
no,
thing.
That's why I work, because she's so good at that. I'm like, please just fucking shoot her. Why does nobody get this?
Yeah.
But when somebody finally did, she fucking put a cap in his chest, and I thought he died, and I was upset when that was Tangerine.
And it was so goddamn good, man.
It was so goddamn good. But then we end up really losing Lemon. I was like, no, why?
I know. I
When he's
hated
about
that.
to get the drop off on her too. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck.
And he's like, Diesel.
Right, yo, Diesel. Like, number one person, shoemate. But I was like, fuck.
There's been a Diesel on this train.
Right, and he gets
And
accidentally
Tangerine.
fucking shot on the neck.
And so, like, that's the thing too, is if you watch it back, I don't know if you caught it the first time, but like, you actually get to see the sticker on her back after, like, in that moment when Tangerine puts the sticker on her. She shoots him and turns around and walks off, and you can see the sticker, like, all of it's there, man. Like, he does, it's so well done. Walker did say
so good.
it's like Snatch and Kill Bill together.
I get the Kill Bill reference, especially
which
when
is-
in Tokyo. I get it.
Which is interesting. But no, I really like the Thomas the Train thing. Is fucking fantastic.
Love this so much.
You know, now I have a new brother. Really? Fuck no.
right?
Like, like It's all, and then his little after credit scene to come
Oh, yeah.
back and be the one that killed her, and just
I
didn't
love
even
that.
stop.
Because when I
he
saw it,
just-
I was like, "Why the person really didn't give a fuck that it just
they
ran
just
over?"
kept going. Like, I couldn't believe it in the theater. I was like, "What the fuck was that?" Because I
Yeah.
thought that the truck was like crashed, and then Brad and Sandra take off walking. I'm like, the truck's not there. I'm like, where the fuck is that person?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he absolutely just was gone,
Just
man. I
hit and
love
run.
it.
Hit
Uh,
and run, man.
but
It was so
but
good.
man, this whole movie is so fucking good.
And Karen Fukuhara was just in it just to fucking wait drinks.
Yeah.
And that was it. I was like, oh shit.
Doesn't even matter. Just
Okay. I
Get
guess she was
talent.
filming The Boys. And she was like, hey, just come in and just shoot this. Just
Right.
do that.
But that's what I mean is like the only person, like Brian Tyree was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
And his accent spot on, because
Yeah.
that is not his fucking accent, by the way,
It's
everybody. But Aaron Taylor Johnson,
Swear
I
it's
feel like
right
was the
here.
only one that like they gave him a really fun script and were like, you're basically the only person here that has to like truly act your fucking ass
Has to
off.
play it straight. Yeah.
And he murdered it. Like, and so Kenya, who's not here, but Kenya's like, Aaron Taylor Johnson is the next Brad Pitt. Like, that's what he said after seeing that movie. And I was like, I completely see
I
why
can
you
see that.
say that. Like, because that's exactly right. Is he's this young guy that can take any fucking role and make the best of it. And
Chameleon that shit.
yeah, I mean, he is so great. And so I thank you for going and seeing it. Did you get to see it in IMAX?
No.
Okay.
Dolby.
Gotcha. Oh, that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it wasn't in IMAX.
Um,
so it's Dolby.
Yeah, gotcha. But I'm glad you got to see it. It is literally like one of the funnest movies of the year, and
It
it
is.
should be murdering at the box office. And horrible marketing killed it. I mean,
Yeah.
this thing is tanking. It's like awful in terms of what it's making, but
Yeah.
like this is most definitely a Blu-ray buy for me.
Oh,
And,
absolutely.
I mean, it is awesome, and like this will be a cult classic for years to come when people finally get to see what this thing is. It's going to be awesome.
Like, what did I say? Shoot you right in the face if you do that again. Oh, they're so fucking good, man. Like, I just want them.
And because even like when you know you get this little thing where it's like, hey, be careful, like, and you get to kind of see like, okay, they really do care about each other. But
Yeah.
then when Lemon thinks Tangerine's dead, you get beautiful moment and very well acted scene with him. And then he goes off and dies, and then motherfucking Tangerine's alive. First thing he says, he sees that necklace. He's like, "Where's my brother?" And he has a moment that it's not as powerful, but like when he's
That's
screaming,
so good, dude.
and like you really get to feel that brother, like they mean it, and like talking. And I also just love going back to how everything's tied together. Like they say at the very beginning, like, no, they asked for the guys that did the Bolivia job. Like that's because we did so fucking great on that job. They wanted us, and it's like, no, that was all this guy's fucking people. And that's why you're on this goddamn train. Like they wanted the guys for the Bolivia job because you're about to get murdered, boy. And like I just like it's all brought together so well. And I love those scripts. Like I am most definitely like, if you can tie that shit around, it's a whodunit. You don't realize it.
Yeah.
But it's a whodunit the whole time. Who's the Diesel? You know, you're like going around Diesel. And you think it's a Hornet, and then Hornet's dead in literally a minute. And like it's not that, like I love it all. Like it's so great because Logan
meanwhile,
Lerman's dead
fucking
so
Brad
quick.
Pitt is in the middle of
Is
all
the
of this
main
shit.
guy. Yeah.
And literally was around
zenning
all
out.
these shit. Right. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, I just happen to be here at all these times. Like, I don't know what the fuck
Yeah.
is going
And like he
I don't know what's going
accidentally
on.
kills Bad Bunny, and he's like, oh,
Yeah.
like, it's like, dang,
Cheese and rice.
it
like,
just
really?
keeps setting them up in different ways.
Yeah.
And oh
Bro.
my god, it's so good, man. It's so good.
Eat a bag of dicks, lady. I'm so sorry. Like, I'm working on it.
When the movie started and they were talking about the Hornet, I thought that woman
Oh, it was gonna be the Hornet.
was going to be the Hornet because even Brian Tyree's like, like, excuse me, you fucking bitch, or like whatever he gets off the trade for a little bit. And I was like, oh, she's gonna like come back and be some badass. Sadly not, but it would have been funny. But yeah, man, like, I know, because even like you get to the end and it goes full CG, Brad Pitt flying through the air shit, and I'm just about it. Like,
it looks
just
good,
works.
man. I'm like, I'm with it.
It just works. So please,
it looks good.
Anybody watching this that hasn't seen the movie, if you're watching on playback, whatever, we just spoiled the whole goddamn thing, but go watch it anyway.
But
it's a fantastic time. I literally, I guarantee you will enjoy yourself if you watch this movie. 110%.
Absolutely. Fucking, and Hiroyuki just kicking ass at the end. I'm here for it, dude.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay. And I thought, and sorry, just really quick before we go into this, but the two dudes that opened up the briefcase at the end, I thought they were going to be somebody like, maybe they still are, like somebody like big, like behind the mask. I thought I was going to get like a reveal.
Oh, yeah.
They were focusing really hard on them. Like, who are these two?
Well, they took
like,
their mask off, didn't they?
No, they kept it on, just got blew the fuck up.
I could have sworn they took their masks off and they were just randoms.
That's why I was like, oh, it's fucking nobody. They kept it on, just blew the fuck up. Okay. That was it. Yeah, go see fucking Bullet Train. Go see it. Amazing. It should still be in theaters, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But go check it out. Okay. So what do we have here? Oh, so I want to talk about this briefly, and this is going into the whole restructuring of everything, which has me curious. Matt Reeves just got a new first look deal for Warner Brothers, DC, and all this good stuff. Is he now the new Godfather of DC? Do you think he is now going to oversee where this goes, or do you think it's just going to be within his Batman world, or it's just like, hey, we love what you did, with Batman. We see where you're going with all of this. Will you be our new Nolan? Like, will you kind of oversee our universe, or is it just going to be his? How do you feel?
Without reading anything, which after I talk a little bit, I'll let you talk and I'll read through some of the article. Without reading anything, though, I think no. I don't think that he is the new, the Feige of anything. Do I think he's the new Nolan for his Batman universe? Yes. I mean, for sure. I think he's going to be in full control forever with Robert Pattinson's Batman. When it comes to the Penguin show, he will. Right. He's helping that along.
Are they still doing Catwoman?
I would probably guess, because he also has, he re-ups with Warner Brothers Television. I would probably guess that means they're going to do more with that. Catwoman makes sense. Because I know that was talked about initially, but I don't think he's going to be that guy, because I don't think he doesn't give a fuck about the DCEU. I mean, he kind of made that a point. If they wanted to allow him to make a second DCEU and do other heroes that fit in Pattinson's world, I bet you they'd let him, but I don't think he has any desire, besides villain stuff, maybe. But yeah, I mean, I'm very excited about this, but I don't think he's that guy. I think that they're just like, hey, we're realizing you're kind of the only thing that is guaranteed to give us quality. You might not knock it out of the park every time, but we know you're going to fucking give it your all. So we would like to lock you the fuck down for a little bit. And I think that's very smart on their part. Go for the quality.
But how long is it? 5 years, right? Is it a 5-year deal?
I'm gonna take a look here.
If I remember correctly, or I'm remembering completely wrong.
I can't see anything. Let me see.
I have it light and
it keeps saying multi-year.
Okay, so okay, so it's multi-year then. So it could be longer. Who knows?
Right.
Let me see. Yeah, first multi-year. Yeah. First look deal. Yeah. So it doesn't specify. Okay. Well, Cool. That's
Um,
I'm here for sure. Obviously, would it be something where I'd want him to overlook? Of course. But like you said, he did make that clear at the beginning. But also, money talks. But
right.
who knows? That could be good. Like here, because even Nolan, after he did The Dark Knight, there was like, hey, with this, even though it became like he saw where the direction was going, but he was producing on Justice League and all this other stuff and overseeing and Man of Steel and all that. But he was like, this might not be in the direction I want to go. Just slap my name on it and y'all do what you want. And that's it. I would like Reeves to be that, but more hands-on, obviously. But like, no, I don't think you guys should do this. Yada, yada, yada. But I feel like that would take up a lot from what he's already doing.
Correct.
Unless he just specifically was like, okay, I'm going to dedicate these years to DC. And then when that's done, go off and do whatever the hell I want to do.
Sure.
But we'll see. I'm completely fine just keeping it in the Batman universe for his. Because I trust him. And he's obviously proven himself with the Batman that we're in good hands. We'll see, because DC's all over the fucking place, and it needs somebody with fucking level head to, like, no, y'all shut the fuck up, sit down. Right. This is what we're doing.
You're ruining this.
Right.
Please.
Right. Just let me take zip it, and just let me do it.
One other thing with this, though, that I wanted to pinpoint. So, Mattson Tomlin. Do you know who this guy is by chance?
What is that?
So this is a guy. He is currently making a Terminator anime, and he's done something called Batman the Imposter. I don't know what that is, but anyway, right alongside this Matt Reeves thing, it also came out that he is co-writing the script for the Batman 2. And he is he was a co-writer on the first film, just uncredited. And so this is kind of funny. So that was actually, his tweet was actually what popped up first for me. Him retweeting the Deadline article. Right. But he said, beyond psyched for my friend Matt Reeves and all the exciting things he is up to, but in particular, the thing we are up to, with a little bat emoji and then Robert Pattinson's Batman. But what's really funny is 19 hours ago, so basically 8-hour difference, but 19 hours ago, he posted the GIF from Good Will Hunting of Matt Damon saying, "Do you like apples?" like through the window. And then when this dropped, right before this dropped, he retweeted that with the GIF of, "How do you like them apples?" Because it just got announced that he's a part of this, because it's kind of been secret, but he knew this was gonna drop. And so he's like, "Do you guys like apples?" And he's like, "How about them apples?" I'm a part of the fucking Batman. And so I think that's pretty cool. Good for him, especially if he helped write the fucking Batman. I'm obviously excited for him to come back. But yeah, I mean, when all this restructuring came out, people were like, "Oh, well, guess what? The Batman 2 is actually not officially greenlit."
And everybody was shitting their damn pants.
And yeah, and so now it's like, okay, yeah, it is. And if anything, they are quadrupling down on this guy, and which is the smart move. I mean, let's all be real. So
it's a very smart move, especially now. And his prior franchise is getting rebooted and shit.
Correct.
So I'm just like, okay, with the fucking bully from It. I found that interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the fucking flame guy. Yeah, in the tunnel.
Yeah, that's funny.
Him. I was like, oh, okay. But we shall see where it goes. Have you still not seen Let the Right One Let Me In?
Sorry.
No. Fucking watch it, dude. What are you waiting for?
It's scary?
It's fucking Matt Reeves remake of Let the Right One In. It's fucking a beautiful ass goddamn movie. And it's, by definition, they say it's a horror, but it's Matt Reeves. It's fucking amazing. The music is phenomenal. Watch the movie, dude. Watch the movie.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's not like typical. Well, obviously, I would hope that you know that's not typical horror shit with Matt Reeves, but yeah, it's amazing. But check it out. That's funny. Before we move on, though, this just dropped, but I find this absolutely hilarious. Um, residents of Angelino Heights plan to protest against Fast X shooting in the neighborhood. Residents are unhappy after the area generates constant noise and unsafe conditions, with people engaging in street racing on the real-life locations.
That's pretty funny.
Fast X is about to get fucking boycotted to
That's
film in LA, which is pretty hilarious. That's funny. So I just saw that. I just had to talk about it. That's ironically funny. They should do it anyway, just because it goes with Libby Fast.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we got some shows to talk about. One I'm not going to be any fucking use for, but I'm going to be curious to somebody who obviously is. So we're going to start there. And that is the House of Them Damn Dakaris people. The show debuted. It premiered. So the House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, premiered on HBO Max. I had to think about that.
And HBO, but yes.
And HBO, yes. Obviously, I'm not somebody who is connected to the lore of Game of Thrones. I have only seen the last season. Yeah.
Are you fucking me?
Yeah, no, I have not watched any of Game of Thrones, but I've only seen the last season.
Oh my god, you're fucking horrible, man.
And that wasn't by choice. I went to a friend's house, and it so happened to be the premiere night, and there was a huge get together. Like, so we'll just make this Game of Thrones night. So I'm like, oh, okay,
Sunday night, yeah, that's
right. Which was fine with me, because even though I haven't watched the seasons, I already know what's going to happen. And the episodes and stuff I've seen, I'm like, well, I already know what the fuck's going to happen. I'm going to call this right now. And I literally would, and the shit would happen. So I'm just like, okay, it's fine. I'm not missing anything.
No.
But yeah, so it premiered, and this is a prequel, right? To the Targaryens and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to let you take the reins on this. Have at it.
So you didn't watch this episode at all?
What for? I don't know what the hell's going on.
Well, that's the point. It's a fucking prequel. You get to start over here. Like, there's nothing connected to the Game of Thrones. This is 172 years before.
But wouldn't it, because the prequel it mentions, then wouldn't it be referenced somewhere in the Game of Thrones and all that shit?
I mean, very tiny, not enough to like. It doesn't. They're not going to spoil this show in Game of Thrones. They wouldn't have made it. I mean.
Okay, so maybe I'll check it out.
So, and that's kind of what I was talking about, like why I don't want to react to House of the Dragon is because I'm hoping it becomes Game of Thrones again and people get the fuck together to watch it, because that is what the final season was like, watch parties and freaking out what's going to happen. Easily the worst season of that series by far is that last season. But
so I've heard.
And there's also a reason why you could call everything, and it's because it wasn't going by the goddamn books anymore, because they hadn't made it that far. So it was just written by people that can't fucking write. But anyway.
Oh, no, I just meant like throughout the previous seasons, I was calling what the fuck was. I was like, oh, well, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, that's going to happen.
Yeah, no, but then you are only calling out like obvious shit, because like there's some crazy things that happen. But anyway, yeah, this episode's great. I'm really hoping that the series is phenomenal, but this first episode's great. Main thing that we got was Balerion the Black Dread, the Mega Dragon. We got, he's awesome. No, I'm just kidding. There's a big skull in it, and that's like the big dragon. And Walker's like obsessed with Game of Thrones now. And George R.R. Martin had an interview, and he was like, they asked him what dragon he would ride on. He was like, well, if I had to pick one, I guess I'd pick the biggest one, which is Balerion the Black Dread. He's the Mega Dragon. He's like talking real weird. And that he's like a main point of like Westeros right now. Like they have Balerion the Black Dread like sculptures and shit all over the place.
So you don't even see this fucker, you just see his skull?
Yeah, cause he died like 9 years before or something like that.
Oh, that's hard.
But anyway, the show, I'm super intrigued because the point of it is basically this king, they're all Targaryens, but this dragon king has no male heir. He has a daughter who's like 14 or something like that, and then has a brother who is Matt Smith and is like a psychopath. And everyone but the king,
Seems to be a common thing.
everyone but the king does not want Matt Smith to be on the throne. And then even the king's like, I'm trying to have a male heir, but if I don't, like, it's my brother's. Like he gets it. And some things happen, certain things happen, and now it's like, well, maybe I want my daughter to be the heir and be the first queen to ever sit on the Iron Throne. And all these people are like, a fucking girl can't do that. Like, you're gonna cause some shit. And so this is basically building to the Targaryen civil war, to where they kind of split, and it's dragon versus dragon shit. But yeah, overall, episode's really good. Definitely it does a good job of, like, it's Game of Thrones, so it's slow. It's a lot of talking, but like you get action, things like that. But it's really good at setting up its characters and like actually giving you like, okay, this is who this person is. And now as I go along this journey with them, I really get to experience what they're living through. And so it does a good job of setting things up. Starts us off with a bang in a lot of ways. And I'm actually really excited. As someone who despises the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones, I was like not excited. Then things started coming out. People, like press people, have seen the first 6 episodes and they're saying they're fantastic. Like the show is hitting. So that excites me. But yeah, I'm honestly like just dying for the next episode. I did immediately buy, it went on Supercell Monday, the entire set of 4K Blu-rays of Game of Thrones.
Oh shit.
Like the whole series. It's normally $250 and it went on sale for $100. And I mean, when are you gonna find 8 seasons in 4K Blu-ray for $100 or less? I mean, like for any show. And so
cool.
for fucking Game of Thrones, I was like, I get 5 seasons of damn near perfection. I was like, let's fucking do it. Because for all I know, the whole reason I did it is because for all I know, HBO and Discovery and Warner Brothers is going to take Game of Thrones off the goddamn streaming service at some point. So now they won't be able to take it from me. And also, I don't know if you remember watching in the last season, the big battle against the ice people and humans. But like that episode was like known for being super dark, like in terms of lighting. Like they had no light. And when it streamed,
I forgot what's it called, the Night of something.
Walker can drop it here in just a sec, but because he's fucking obsessed.
Yeah, what's the episode called, Walker? It's the Night of something.
But that episode, when it streamed, the bit rate, like so many people were watching at one time that the quality was garbage. And so I'm like excited to finally get to like watch that episode at some point off of a 4K Blu-ray that has the full quality.
The Long Night. Yeah,
there you go. So like I don't have to watch it compressed and like all that shit. I get to watch it in its glory. So yeah, that's kind of why I did it. But
I really did like that episode though.
Oh no, of course.
I thought it was. I was like, oh, this is fucking awesome. But
wait, here you go. Walker sent me this.
If I could ride on one dragon, I might as well go with the biggest, which would be Balerion the Black Dread. He's the mega dragon.
That's funny.
That's our boy George.
So that's actually funny because I was gonna say there's 2 things that I've heard that came out of this first episode that everyone's talking about and going crazy over and whatever.
Okay.
Which who I thought Balerion the Black Dread was, which I guess is horrible, which is the actual Black Targaryen that everyone's mad over. And
oh, that's funny.
And then apparently a really tough scene happens involving a woman or some shit.
That's correct. Yeah.
So I'm just like, everyone's just like, so I'm like, okay. So obviously women aren't happy about that scene. That's all I see on Twitter. And then people don't like a rich Black Targaryen apparently.
So first of all, that guy's actually not a Targaryen, but he's like a cousin of Targaryens. So he has the same hair.
Right.
But people are upset that he's black because in the book he's not black, but like he can be fucking black, people. Like Jesus Christ. But and the tough scene is basically a C-section in medieval times scene.
Mhm.
And I think you could probably guess how that goes. Yeah, he's a Valyrian, which is barely off, basically. But yeah, you can probably guess how bad a C-section would go back then. And I
Oh,
did not
that's-
hear of any of
that's
this, but they show it all.
And I
Uh,
thought, okay,
and so,
people
well,
are-
no. So here's the thing. So I didn't know anybody was mad about this until Hannah went to work. She was walking through places, and one of the places that she goes, the head nurse there is a big nerd, and so every time Hannah walks in there, they talk about nerdy shit. And so Hannah was like, "Did you watch Game of Thrones?" And she was like, "Yeah, I did." And she was like, "It was really brutal." And Hannah was like, "Well, yeah, that's Game of Thrones. You know, it's kind of what they're known for. They don't pull punches." And she was like, "Yeah, but like all the controversy." And Hannah was like, "What are you talking about?" And she was like, "Well, with the Roe v. Wade stuff and like what they did with that woman." And basically the whole point is this woman is struggling to birth her son,
Mhm.
and the father is the one that's like, let's go ahead and cut it out of her and kill her, and let's cut the baby out. And so people are mad that the guy made the decision. But what was funny is in the moment, because so it's the king, it's the king and his wife
Uh-huh.
in the first episode. And what was funny was Hannah and I are sitting there watching the episode, and they come in and tell him he's somewhere else, and they come in and whisper in his ear, "Hey, your wife's not doing well with this birth." And so he gets up and goes to see her, and she's in there screaming, and he walks around the bed, gets on his knees and holds her hand and is like, "Are you okay?" Whatever. And Hannah immediately, she's like a massive history buff, and she immediately goes, "King wouldn't have done that." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "King would have walked in there and said, cut it out and kill her immediately." Like, this is before any of the C-section stuff happened or that we knew it was going to happen. And I was like, "Yeah, I guess that's true." And she's like, "Yeah, they didn't give a fuck about that." And so it was kind of nice that he cared about his wife. And then basically it's not going well. She's not going to get the baby out. And so the head doctor guy's like, "Okay, there is a new thing that we can do." He's like, "You're either going to lose both of them or you can lose one of them." And he's like, "Either way, she's dead. Do you want to try to get this baby out?" And he makes the decision to cut the baby out. But they don't tell her. There's no medication. They just hold her the fuck down.
Not back then, no.
Yeah, they just hold her the fuck down and cut her fucking long ways open. Like, it's not a C-section. It is just like, fucking do it. And it is gnarly. But it's Game of Thrones. Like, I don't know what people, I mean,
That's what I'm confused. I'm like, you're
can
mad
not
about
get
the
mad.
C-section back in those days. How do you think that would happen? And it's like,
that's my thought at least.
it's just one of those things where it's people, like when serious things happen in the world, they use that as every excuse just to find something to be mad at or cry about,
Right.
instead of actually going with what, the situation is. Like Roe v. Wade is obviously fucking insane and run by just fucking dumbasses.
Of course.
But this isn't the time to be like, hey, in this period of time, let's be mad because they can just go in and, give her needles and medicine and be like, hey, talk this out. What do you want to do as she's there dying? Let's
Right.
Back then, they're fucking savages. That's just history. It doesn't make right.
Correct.
But why are you mad of a correct C-section back then? Like, why?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you could go back to, our girl in Game of Thrones, Daenerys, gets absolutely raped
Right.
by Aquaman. Like,
yes.
I mean, and you get to watch all of it.
And nobody says a peep.
And, I mean, it is fucking hard to watch. Like, even me watching that, like, I'm watching that girl naked, and so I should be like, hey, but like, no, I struggle to watch it. But guess what?
Yeah.
She's having sex with Khal Drogo, the barbarian that doesn't speak English. And yeah, I don't think he's going to really care about her feelings. Like, know the times. and they're just being truthful to that, you know.
I mean, true. We're not by all means not
So-
saying rape is okay.
No,
But
I mean
it's
it's
like-
just,
I don't know. It's just don't. Out of the two, be mad at that because that's just
The-
fucking
yeah.
horrible. Like
exactly. I mean, it's just the world. I mean,
not a C-section.
yeah.
Of
I mean,
like,
it's
hey.
and I mean, what people are mad about is that it's a C-section against her will, and I get it. It sucks for that woman, you know.
Well,
but
what is
also,
what is she gonna say? It's like, hey, you're gonna die if we do this or do that. You're dead either way.
you're correct.
What do you want to
I don't
do in these Game of Thrones harsh fucking times?
Right.
It's like, well, it's like you want us to kill both of you? You want us to save your baby?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? I mean, I get, the choice, sure, but of course back then they could be like, no, fucking, here you go, which is still wrong, but
It's just the times,
I don't
man.
know,
I mean,
it's just,
it's the
I don't
same
know.
times where they cut your head off for no reason. I mean, it's literally those times. Like, get that man that got his head cut off didn't get a choice. Like,
Right.
I
Like,
mean,
I just don't understand
it was just the times. Like, it's
choice
not
there would
about
be.
the woman in that scenario. It's people are fucking barbarians back then. Like,
right.
it
And like
was
if she's
not
in pain
fun.
and dying, I don't know what can she
Yeah.
say. Like I don't know. I guess I'm
And,
just
I mean-
confused on that stuff.
I mean, and you have to watch her. Like, I mean, they make it brutal on purpose. So like,
Of course.
she's sitting there going like, "Hey, what are you doing? I'm scared. What are you? Oh my gosh, what are they doing?" And then they start cutting her, and I mean, she's just screaming bloody murder.
Oh,
and
see,
I
I
mean-
thought it's like she was just dying. I was like, she can't fucking say anything.
Oh
That's
no,
Oh,
she's
okay.
she is wide the fuck awake, having to
Okay.
go through it all.
Then that changes perspective. A little bit, so I get it a little bit. Okay.
You know, but like, it's still the thing of it's like, you know, they go to the dad and they say, "Hey, do you want to attempt at getting a male heir, or do you want to let them both die? Because either way, she's not making it."
Yeah.
And he really sits there and has to think about it. And at the end of the day, it's probably the right decision. But, you know, to pro, you know, like people that care about life, they're like, yeah, I mean, to a mom that carried a baby to term, she would probably choose the baby's life over her own. And in this case, they're both going to die. So she would probably say, go ahead and, you know, do this. And so it's a weird, like, obviously it is meant to be brutal
Right.
and meant to suck and be horrible, but like, it's the times. Like, that's just the way it was. And I mean, immediately, as soon as they started cutting into her the wrong direction, like going vertically, both of us were like, oh fuck, like just screaming at the TV because it is rough. And I mean, she's laying on white bed sheets and they're just absolutely, you know, bright red by the end. She just loses all her blood.
Right.
But yeah, so anyway, I recommend the episode, but I mean, it's fucking Game of Thrones. Like I expected you get to see somebody's head get cut in half in the same episode. Like he didn't get a choice on that. You know, I probably would have chose not to have that happen to me. But no one had the right to choose. Like that's the whole point, is like royal people, you know, they get to choose
They're
the
assholes.
laws. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
They were dicks.
that's why they, you know, we've seen Game of Thrones. Like those people don't end up on the Iron Throne at the beginning. Like they're all gone. And this is, you know, they're bad people. Like that's just the way it goes. So anyway, watch it
Very
though.
true.
I think you should watch it. Get into this, and then you can, after this finishes, you can watch Game of Thrones and just be like, oh hey, cool.
All right, I'll check it out. I'll do it. All right. So before we get into our main headline of the night, again, if you made it this far, please hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, and most importantly, that notification bell to be reminded when all episodes drop, so you can stay in the know. Okay. So another show had its lovely premiere, which I completely fucking forgot they moved it. So I was sitting here this, last week, like, what
Oh,
the fuck
no.
is this damn? Like, what's happening? And it's like, yeah, it's definitely tomorrow. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, you're right.
That's funny.
Because fucking Shit Door premieres today, right? Is that when it comes out?
What?
Shit Door. Andor. Is that today?
Is it?
I don't know. That's why, because
That's
that's why
next-
they moved
That's
fucking
next month.
thing, isn't it?
21st of next month.
Oh, I thought that's why they moved She-Hulk. They didn't want them on the same day, so I thought it premiered soon.
Well,
okay,
but She-Hulk's 10 weeks long. So
right.
yeah.
Okay, cooling game. So speaking of She-Hulk, no
Spoiler alert.
Right, spoiler alert. So She-Hulk finally dropped on Disney Plus, introducing us to Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk, the cousin of Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk.
The Incredible.
Right. So
Or Smart Hulk.
Or Smart Hulk, exactly.
Don't get to choose the names.
So this episode just shows how she came to be. And her training and Bruce kind of overseeing her on how to be a Hulk. That's literally the episode. It's just introduction, and which we come to find out was supposed to be the penultimate episode, but they moved it to the pilot. So me personally, I really fucking loved this episode. Like really fucking loved it. It makes me very excited for this fucking show. What's her name? Tatiana
Maslany.
Dear God.
I mean, home run.
Just completely.
Yeah.
Fucking kills it. Mark Ruffalo comes back, tears it up as Hulk. I fucking loved Hulk in this. I loved everything.
Yeah.
About this fucking episode, and god damn is She-Hulk fine. When she turns into She-Hulk, sweet.
Yep.
Jesus. Like, I prefer more of like the bun look. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But it's just fine all around. But everything sticks. The humor, the resignation with character, and like it just goes. Like the episode was like, hey, we're here, go. And I didn't feel that as a negative, like at all. And I saw your tweet about the post-credit scene of being like one of the best just ever.
Yeah.
And it is fucking phenomenal.
It's like probably in my top 5.
It's fucking great, dude.
Yeah.
That Captain America fuck shit,
oh my God.
I was like, what? Like the way that, because I kind of had an idea because Twitter immediately was like Captain America fuck, so I was like, okay, so something in this show and this episode does something with that. Because I didn't end up seeing the episode till the next day. I didn't get to see it.
Oh, okay. Thursday, okay.
So I thought they were just going full on Captain America fucks, like just says. I was like, oh, are they getting daring? They throwing F-bombs? But I liked the cutoff and how they executed it.
Yeah.
In this much better. But yeah, man, I loved it. I like how they explain how she became Hulk. You know, the blood. You know, I want to call it transfusion, but blood getting into her, and
correct.
Him finding a way to keep himself human for the meantime, and literally giving nod how she may be a little better than him and stronger and all these things. And
she's not stronger than him, but yes,
right. But they like to hint that or whatever, because it's one of those Supergirl situations. When she first comes out, isn't she? They fucking hinted at that, but
no, but they're not even close. Like they make a point in this episode that it's not even remotely close.
Yeah.
Because like so that was what people were so upset in the fucking trailer, because the way they cut it.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm gonna throw this rock. He throws it, and he gives her a noticeably smaller rock, and she throws it past his. And in the trailer, he's like, am I jealous? Is that what I'm feeling? And it's like, no, you find out that's because she can control herself. She doesn't have somebody in her head that's, that also has a hand on the wheel. And in the episode, he fucking grabs one of his big boulders and makes it a meteor and throws it straight into space.
Which was awesome.
And granted, does that make a ton of sense for the Smart Hulk that we saw in like Endgame? No. But does it work for the tone of this show? 100%. He's like, I just had to show you how it was done. Fuck around and find out. And and even to the point of when they have to fight, he doesn't want to punch her. He's doing the thunderclap. Like he's like, I don't want to mess with you. So he just kind of picks her up, throws her, tackles her, whatever.
He's like, all right, I want to do a little.
Yeah. And he's just kind of like letting her have her way.
Yeah.
But because he doesn't want to hurt her. And
no, not at all.
The cousin family aspect is also done really well between them.
It is.
Like the meditating thing, and he's like, "You're obviously not ready for this, so let's go ahead and try to do this in the morning." And
Right. Let's just take every day as it comes, Jen.
yeah, and yeah, I mean, this episode's great. It's this is most definitely since I've seen the first 4, no other episode is like this. You know, this is the origin story episode. Hulk is done. Like, he's not going to be a part of the show really any longer. He was meant to come in here, sell us on his cousin, get the fuck out. What?
So at least not yet. It may pop up in the end somewhere for a little bit.
But like, this show is hers, and this episode doesn't necessarily show you that, but it's done really well. The fourth wall breaking is done really well. Yeah, exactly. Perfect timing on that. But yeah, I mean, the humor hits. The real, like, I love how he's like, we have to make sure that you can control your emotions. And she's like, do you have any idea?
Oh, the one that sent the fucking internet a frenzy.
Yeah, she's like, I'm a woman. She's like, I'm always in control of my emotions. And she like slowly transforms. And then she's like, no, I'm good. And she brings it back down. And he's like, well, shit. Okay, let me just rip that part out. Because he's like, yeah, you're right. Like, I don't know what that's like.
Right.
So
we're in a whole new territory here. Like, no, I am doing this. It's like, oh shit.
Right. And it's done really well. And even to the point of you get to the end there with the courtroom scene, and I'm about it. She's got that confidence. She's a lawyer, and you know, she's like ready to give her shit. What's her name? Jamila shows up. Titania shows up.
Yeah.
And
I love how just cheesy it is.
Oh yeah, correct.
I was like, what? But deliberate. I love it.
Yeah. So she shows up. Take the shoes off. I like these shoes. I'll go ahead and save those, and I'll bust out of this, kick some ass. I'm ready to give my closing arguments.
Jennifer Walters, attorney at law.
Yeah, it's like, fucking awesome.
Pretty awesome.
So yeah, I really love it. And then that after credit scene. So like that's what they're talking about when they wreck.
Yeah.
Is, you know, I think the last line she says when they are about to wreck is Captain America was a virgin.
Yeah.
And they bring that all the way back around. And it's so fucking good.
It's like, wait, you're not drunk? Captain America. I was like, this is fucking great.
Captain America.
Fuck.
And it's so good. So much fun. And I really I'm so excited for people to see the show. I'm sad I have to wait so long to like see new shit. But also like I no longer have access to the episodes any longer. So like I have to wait to see them again at the same time. And I'm just dying to watch them again, because I have had so much fun with it. And
same.
What about the 30-minute thing?
I wish it was. You know, I'm always gonna.
But
I wish
why?
it was longer.
What did it need?
I don't know, but it does work. It really does. It does work. But that's just me having my cake in. How can I put this? What am I trying to say? What am I kicking Negan into? I guess that's the way I put it. I'll just always go for more, but it didn't need it. This episode at least was like, okay, we got everything, boom, knocked out. Like I said, it moved at a pace that worked, and like it was just going along because it kept you with engaging characters and humor and story and all this. So it was like, I'm here for it. It was one of those situations for me that I got with Miss Marvel, in terms of like, here's a show that I like. I like this premiere obviously a lot better than Miss Marvel, but it's a pair of like both of these characters immediately was like, you fucking got me. Like
they were.
I love absolutely. Both strong openings, but being carried by characters that you just immediately love. I was like, I want to spend these hours with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I love the island, the island scenes. Like to me, like just the scenery and all that, them together was just gorgeous. Like it was great. Yeah. Them hulking and the trees in the background and all this. The CGI was not horrible to me.
No,
which I knew was going to be the fucking case where everyone was bitching about a trailer.
One thing I will say in these coming episodes, when we get to see She-Hulk as a lawyer, like walking around the office, the CG is still awful. Unless they fix it in the coming weeks, but I doubt it, because I mean it's bad every time. But that's the only time. Like literally every other situation that She-Hulk shows up, besides in the office with the bun and the suit,
Right.
it's great. Like but be prepared for that because it doesn't always hit.
Oh, I don't care.
But
It's a TV show.
but in this episode, it's remarkably better than what that first trailer showed me.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it looks great. So
Yeah.
nobody can complain about this episode for sure.
And I even, like I said, I even loved the Hulk in this. And it's
Yeah.
like, I don't think it's a huge departure because I knew like he's still the fucking Hulk. Like regardless of what people
Yeah.
think, like he's still the fucking Hulk. But I like this. I like that this episode kind of reminded. It was like, don't fucking forget. Like even though I did all this, I'm still this fucking ridiculously strong. I'm still me. Yada yada yada. It's just a different take, and that's what I loved because it's kind of like I don't want to say a slap in the face, but it's kind of like telling those who are just like, oh Hulk, this. It's kind of like, well, here you go. Don't forget. Here's just a little reminder. And it's like I like that. For the Kenyas of the world of like, hey, Hulk is fucking destroyed. It's like, well, fucking dude. But it's like, I like what this episode does with that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get a call back to the Sokovian ship. I imagine we will. I hope we do. And why he just fucking popped up and he was like, yeah, I gotta handle that shit. Maybe next time we see
like
him.
that.
Yeah, because he just said that shit so fucking nonchalant.
He's like, I need to take care of that, but I gotta look at you first.
Yeah, it's like an A-class Sokovian fucking ship. Yeah, I gotta find out what that's about. But first, I'm like, what? So
Yeah.
like, all right.
They probably have a message for me or whatever he said.
Right. So I was like, okay. And I loved it. It's so subtle. But when the Hulk says, bruh, I fucking love that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just like, bruh, that was the whole
like-
fucking...
It's like, wait, that's you?
Right. It's
Yeah.
like, first he's dabbing, then he's fucking doing all type of shit.
yeah.
Now he's saying, bruh.
So what I will say for sure in this one is you can really, because Mark Ruffalo has a weird mouth,
He does.
and you get
And
to
he moves
see it
weird.
really well as Hulk in this.
Yeah.
That's
what I loved. He looked great. Like he was
Yeah.
detailed down. I was like,
I mean,
"Dang."
unbelievably good.
Yeah. Look, they
and
spent
that-
more money on him than her.
Well, that's the thing. So they already have the model for him done
Right.
to that incredible degree. And then it's also like it's a full CG thing, whereas with She-Hulk, you can tell she's probably on stilts and they have to like animate it afterwards and like
Oh yeah, definitely.
but anyway, no, it's great. He looks phenomenal. I just like I'm so excited for people to get to watch the show because like I got to see the first 4. And I can honestly say, if all 10 were out that day, I would have binged them in a day. Like
Yeah,
I had that much fun with it. This is the most exciting episode that I've seen because it's the point of it is there's 2 Hulks. It's the origin. They have fighting, which isn't even necessary. Like in this episode, it's like, okay, cool, I get it. This is a Marvel show, and yet we needed some fighting. Like we need some action here.
Right.
But like really, I just enjoyed hanging out with them. And
Yeah.
like they could have argued as cousins, and one guy that has a ton of experience over the other saying, hey, you don't want to leave yet. And she's like, no, I'm out of here. And like had a good argument, but we had fighting. It was fun. I loved the tidbits about, oh yeah, Tony and I built this shack
I love that.
and he was supposed to come back and take this from me and now he's not. And whatever. It's like, okay, cool. Like I like that this is real. And this is in that world still. But yeah, I'm super excited for people to see the rest of this. Like the rest of the cast, like there's people that just randomly stand out. Like a guy, the actor's name is Josh Segarra. But he plays a guy named Augustus. And I think he shows up in the next episode, but he's like just a lawyer friend. And he's like so fucking fun as like just a supporting character that isn't necessary, like him. And then you kind of see the girl best friend in this a little bit, but like they're all 3 together a lot, and they just work. Like you get that hanging out, like it feels like a Seinfeld or like a Friends vibe, but it's also lawyer show Marvel at the same time. And it's just like it's very interesting. Like I'm having a blast with it. So I hope people enjoyed as much as I did, because I had a blast for sure.
Well, so far I definitely am. I'm hooked. I am
Good.
in, and it's funny that well, before I say this, well, that wraps up our She-Hulk.
Sure.
Spoiler. So that's right now. You guys have free reign. Whoever is in here, it's not me, so I doubt this will be very long. Say what you want in the comment section below. Have at it. It's funny that you brought up the Mark Ruffalo thing, because for me, when it comes to the CGI, when it comes to the Hulk, that's always the key focus for me to let me know if that shit is on point, is his mouth.
You're
It's
correct.
weird, but it's always been that for me.
Yeah.
Because it's like you said, he moves when he speaks, the way he like just animates,
Yeah,
just the way it's supposed to.
he's
It's
got a-
weird. It's very
Yeah.
him.
Because he has like Bell's palsy or something at some point. So he has some weird paralysis in parts of his face.
Mm.
And so like he like freaked out. Like before he ever got his big break, he got hit with that and thought that he was never going to make it as a big actor, because like half of his face didn't work for like an extended period of time and not all of it came back.
Right.
But now that's just him, and he's got this very unique characteristic that, yeah, you're exactly right.
I would say to me, it's a trait I love. About
Yeah,
him.
no,
I love that.
it makes him a real person. Like
Yeah.
that is, he's not some cookie cutter, perfect guy. Like he's a real person that can fit
Yeah.
into worlds very easily.
Right. But I was like, even Endgame, like it had it, but not as much as this. Like this was like
Right.
spot the fuck. I was
Correct.
like, whoa. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, they gave 100,000 billion% for him right in this show. So it's just funny that you brought that up, because that's literally how I
Yeah,
how I
It's real.
judge the shit.
very real.
So I want to talk about bring this up really quick and get your thoughts. So the tobacco, is it tobacco or tobacco? It's fucking up. Tobacco, right? It's tobacco.
What are you talking about?
Well, this particular word. It's tobacco or tobacco. One of them. Anywho.
Debacle?
Huh?
Debacle?
Is it debacle? I thought it was tobacco.
Use
Either
it in a
fucking way.
sentence.
I just did. That's how you would use it. So it's like,
A fiasco?
no.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to look it up later. It's unimportant. We'll figure it out.
Okay, go ahead.
But the net situation is completely
Yeah.
fucking over.
It's a debacle. Yeah, it's a debacle.
Debacle. Okay. So apparently, Kevin Hart. Wow. Kevin Durant.
Add about 1.5 feet, my boy.
Right. Is staying with the Nets. All this trade shit is fucking over with. So now we have our big three again, or whatever the fuck, or now we have a big three. And it's like, I wish I can really be excited for this.
Yeah.
But because, like, I'm not worried about Kevin Durant. Because, like, this was the only moment he's like, oh, hey, I want fucking out because all this bullshit going on, whatever the fuck. But once he's there, like, he's there.
Yeah.
It's Kyrie and fucking Ben that I'm worried about.
You now have both of them
Right.
with the Kevin Durant who's fucking done. So, like, if they give any shit,
But here's the thing. Even if he doesn't give a shit, Kevin Durant will still fucking ball. He's like, that's
Yeah,
all
no,
I
of
was like, I
course.
just want to fucking ball, dude.
yeah,
Those two fucking prima donna, dramatic ass fucking.
right.
And I tweeted this. I'm like, if no bullshit occurs and Kyrie shuts the fuck up and does right and actually plays, and Ben Simmons doesn't have another fucking now it's my head, now it's my back, now it's this, now it's that.
Right.
They will go. They will be final favorites. They'll go to the fucking final. They're fine. They'll
Sure.
represent the East. They're good. But if they fucking, I just know what's gonna happen. I don't want another year of bullshit. Like at this point, I feel bad for KD. I do, because like these whole years at Brooklyn, he's been fucked either which way you can think. And I just don't want this to happen to his brother again and have a whole new thing. And I want my Nets versus Warriors. That's what the fuck I want.
Yeah.
But how are you feeling about all this? Like,
I mean, I definitely think it's funny because really and truly, like, this is what I expected to happen. strictly because no one could trade for that.
Yeah.
No one has a package for that.
At all.
Period. So like, it's just not the case. So I expected this to eventually come to fruition. I mean, I definitely think Kevin Durant is more of a problem personally than like you do. Like, I think that he does have a lot of pettiness and like could possibly
Absolutely.
Cause more problems here.
I think
the whole
petty
thing was
outside of the game. I don't think he'll do that for the game though.
Well, but like, he despises Steve Nash. Like, he thinks Steve Nash is a terrible coach, and
He's not 100% wrong. I wasn't terrible, but
he came out and was like, "I want him gone or me gone." And they're like, "We're not going to get rid of our coach. Like, he's doing fine." And they're like, "And we can't get rid of you because, But really, like, has Steve Nash gotten the chance to coach, just like has Kevin Durant got the chance to be good? I mean, like, it's the same thing. It's Steve Nash's job to fucking make all that work. And I mean, you don't know if your second best player is part of the team or not. Like, and you had James Harden's ass. Like, give him a break. I'm not going to say that he's a great coach because he's brand new, but like,
definitely not. But I don't know. It was just, there was a lot of questionable shit. I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? But it's like,
Sure.
It was his first year. So I'm like, I'm
Right.
trying to keep that in mind as well.
Yeah.
But it's just like, at the same time, fucking KD, you signed off on the motherfucker. Like, what do you,
correct.
like, you knew what you was getting
You're
into.
mad
but-
now? Yeah.
Right. But he did a lot of questioning, especially towards the end. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? So I get the frustration there, but I'm also like, you can't be surprised.
It's also a thing of like, oh, Kevin Durant, you want to leave. And now you're saying you might stay if we get rid of our coach. And it's like, both of you are under contract for years. If we fire him, we have to continue to pay the coach.
Right.
And he's like, and you'll probably still want to leave.
And your 4 years hasn't even technically started on your new contract.
Yeah, correct.
So it's
like,
so that
I
shit
mean-
starts opening goddamn night, brother. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's an interesting situation, but no, I mean,
It is.
this is what I expected to happen. I am intrigued to see how they're going to make a
Yeah.
Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving. They are literally opposite ends of the spectrum point guards. Like, you want the ball in Kyrie Irving's hands,
or someone sacrificing.
but
It's gonna be Ben.
Ben can only bring the ball down the court. You cannot make Ben a wing. He can't shoot.
Right.
So if that's the case, really and truly, if I was the coach here, Ben, you are coming off the bench. You're going to be our point forward.
That's not gonna happen.
And right. But that's if you're talking about sacrificing, you cannot have both of them on the court at the same time unless Ben Simmons is bringing the ball up the court and you're wasting Kyrie, if that's the case. Because Kyrie could play a wing, but you want the ball in his hands, bring the ball up the court.
That's true. I mean, he can bring it up. They can also just kick it to him when he get up there.
Well,
Like,
right. But that's then what's he doing? He's becoming a wing. Like, I mean,
Well,
they can do pick and roll.
right.
but
He
like-
can do inside. His inside game is a lot better.
But like, you see how they could like imagine being an opposing team, and the Nets have two lineups, one with a Kyrie KD, and then one built for Ben Simmons KD type stuff, to where it's like trying to guard Ben Simmons and trying to guard Kyrie Irving. You need two different players, massively, and so that would be dirty because you don't have enough roster spots to defend both of those sets of five. So it could be smart, but it's the ego thing. Because Ben Simmons does not belong on the court with Kyrie, and he would be awesome as a second string coming in.
I mean, to
But-
be honest with you, I won't be surprised. Well, they're gonna play him on the 4. They have to, because they'll start Claxton at the 5. They'll rock him as a 4,
Yeah.
and it's like that's the best option to do it, because they literally, and he'll even sometimes rotate 4 or 5 because they don't have. And I put
Well, that's
they
the thing.
don't fucking big. Other
That's-
than Claxton, and he's
I mean, literally, if you're going to start Ben Simmons, he's your 5. Because KD's your 4.
Yeah, because that's
And-
what I was thinking. But I was like,
And because KD's a wing, but he's a 4-man.
yeah,
And you cannot have 2 big men hogging the paint with Kyrie Irving and KD on the outside because they get to the paint. And so it's
Right.
like you can't. There's no twin towers when you have those guys outside. That does not work. So like
and that's what I was thinking. Most likely, he's gonna start as a 5,
5, yeah.
and Claxton's
I
gonna
agree
come
with
off the
that.
bench.
And with that, you have him. I mean, he better be first of all in the fucking weight room, but also like, hey man, you're gonna be rebounding, and guess what? If you get the rebound, take the fuck off.
Yeah.
That's when. Great. Our 5-man is a point guard.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a Giannis situation. And that's where, guess who's your wing now? Kyrie Irving over there ready to spot up, shoot all day fucking long. And guess what? If it's not Kyrie, you got KD on the other side. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same thing in terms
Or
like,
fucking Joe Harris. Or
yeah,
fucking-
correct. I mean,
Yeah.
so like it works, but only on a fast break. Like literally, Ben Simmons is a fast break point guard.
Yeah.
Whereas Kyrie Irving is fucking everything. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, if you say go to Kyrie, he's gonna be fucking. All 5 defenders are gonna be on the floor by the time he's making a layup, fucking backwards over the backboard. Like
Oh yeah.
he's like, screw, gotcha.
It's like Ben is good
But-
for that, like you said, on the fast and of course defensively. But it's
Yeah.
like,
Big time.
well, once upon a time, we'll see where he's at now.
True.
When it comes to that, since he's been out for 5 years on some bullshit. But that just generally made me worry because I'm like, wow, all these other teams have fucking bigs and very talented bigs who can move, and we just don't have that. Because Claxton's clumsy, fucking most times useless ass ain't gonna do nothing against them. So it's gonna be interesting for sure, man. Unless somehow they pick something up before this damn season starts, I don't know, but it's gonna be interesting.
For sure.
Now that the bullshit's over and the smoke is cleared, we'll see, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think that is a good spot to end it. So yeah, thank y'all so much for joining us on the latest episode of the Film Cave, episode 84. We hope you had a good time and enjoyed yourself. Again, if you feel like we missed anything and you want to continue the conversation, please let it be known in the comment section below. And we'll be sure to keep going over there and shoot the shit. Be sure to hit that thumbs up. Really helps the channel and the show reach a lot more people. It's what we want. Hit the notification bell. Be reminded when all episodes drop. And of course, we will see you again right here. Same time as always, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And hit that subscribe button. That's most important. And it's free. So have at it. So Logan, where can the people find you and what do you have going on?
Yes, sir. You can find me right here, Logan_Swish on the twits. Also, Logan Swish, YouTube,
The twins.
Patreon. We're doing She-Hulk right now on Patreon. And possibly we'll do Rings of Power on Patreon. I'm still unsure because I kind of want to watch that on my TV. But
Fair.
we'll see. We'll see how it works. But also, I'm going to see the first 2 episodes in a theater. So not really worth a reaction on that anyway. But yeah, also, my boy John, as always, is in the description. Subscribe to him.
Yes, likewise, this mofo is in my description as well. So go hit that love and support. You can find me on all forms of social media. Social media? Wow.
Mira.
That's the right. Social media. Mira. Okay. Social media. So be sure to go and show that love and support. I'm especially more active now on my social media, so go show that love. It's your boy Knight.
And I'm Logan.
And as always, we'll see y'all in the cave. Peace.
See you guys. Captain America. Fuck.